So in this video, I'm gonna break down to you exactly how taking action out of my 9 to 5 saved my life and how it can do the same for you. Now it's gonna sound super dramatic, right? How does taking action save your life? I know. The most important part about this though is actually understanding what action's required and how you can do it. I will ask you a series of questions that's gonna help you rewire your thought patterns, give you your vision so that you can step into something that you actually excited to do. You can wake up and feel that you just want to fucking attack the day. I learned this from my first mentor when I was in a proper bad place. I was a proper mess head, party boy, partying every day, taking like crazy substances like pretty much every weekend. And I was just lost and confused, stressed, depressed, anxious, like every single negative feeling and emotion that you could ever experience, like that's what I was feeling at the time. No, I'm not a fucking angel. Like I still party sometimes. I'm still a degenerate from time to time. Like I'll admit that, right? Because I'm not afraid to. But I am so much more locked in on my life and I'm so clear on where the fuck I want to go. So how do you do this? The first question you have to ask yourself is, if everything went to plan, what type of success would you achieve? Now, the way that you have to envision this is that every single failure you overcame, every single roadblock that you face, you beat that. And you had the success that you want at the other end of that. All of the success and all of the intention that you went into it for, you achieved. You can put it over whatever time span you want, whether you want to do it over 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, doesn't matter. But the most important part about this is that you envision it as if it's happening. You speak about it and you think about it in present tense. Like, I am this person. When I wake up, I see this. But the most important part to actually focus on is, yes, the material things. However, it's actually the emotion that those things bring to you, the emotion of where you're at, what you're doing, how you feel. Because when you generate an emotion, and I'll speak about this in a sec, but when you generate an emotion, your brain and your mind live it in the present moment. So all that you would then need to do is change your thought process, because that will then change the emotion that you feel, which is then going to change the action that you take, which is eventually going to lead you to that vision. To simplify it, right? Like, you make the money that you want to make. You are wherever you want to be in the world. You have full control of your time. You have full control of how and who you spend your time with, which is a very fucking important one. And like I mentioned, like the emotion that you feel when you're in those places with those people, making that money that you want to make. Now, the people bang on about manifestation all of the time, and I'm definitely no pro, but the one thing that I realize is that when you really focus on the moment and being present in that moment that doesn't exist and that only exists in your mind, like it's existed once, and you can create memories that haven't happened into the future, because you always remember your thoughts, right? That's what memories are. So you can create thoughts and memories that don't even exist. And I believe that that's such a strong reason as to why I'm in the position that I'm in today, based off such a huge part of growth. I believe strongly that's why I'm in the position that I'm in today, against where I was in such a short time ago, because all of this shit has changed so quickly. I remember when shit was going so wrong in my journey, right? And I'd been in high ticket for 3-4 months. I made no money. The offer that I was on was doing less than 10K a month. I was the only closer. The business owner was like a nice guy, but like pretty fucking average as a business owner. And I sat there and I made no money for 6 weeks, like literally zero. And I was so deflated and so overwhelmed with everything. And I remember looking out my window at my house and I envisioned like palm trees, a pool, the sun, blue skies, and the ocean. And then what would it have been 5 months later after that, or sorry, I think 3 months later after that, I woke up in Thailand, right? After like the whole journey anyway. I woke up in Thailand and I looked out my window and I saw palm trees, ocean, a pool, and blue skies. And it was almost identical. Obviously, it wasn't exactly identical, but it was almost identical to the fucking vision that I'd put in my mind. And it was so strange, right? Just for all of those pieces to just sync and align together at once. Because alignment can't happen overnight, but like it genuinely, like things get closer every day and then boom, it just fucking happens. And that was like a moment of just like, holy fuck, like these things actually work. I'll post a video or like a picture of the like scene or the scenery that I'm talking about, because it's fucking unreal. The next question you have to ask yourself naturally is, that life that you want to achieve up here, what actions are then required of you to be able to achieve that life? Now you understand where you need to go, you can now rewire, well, what actions would that version of me take to get there? If you can really imagine that conversation that you'd have with that person, understand that, right? Like the life of freedom that you want, the life of time that you want to achieve, the life of money that you want to achieve, how do you get there? You're only going to know by actually doing it in the first place. You're never going to be able to completely map out step by step by step, but at least take some kind of directional movement towards it, and don't convince yourself that fucking researching is taking action. Now, the third question that you have to ask yourself is, are you willing to take those actions? Because sometimes in life, it's not about what you want, right? It's about what you're willing to sacrifice and get rid of. Because if you start to drop the cycles, break the cycles that you're in, leave the limiting beliefs behind, leave the current baggage or weight or trauma that you've experienced behind, you're going to be able to make movements at such faster pace in a shorter space of time, and your acceleration will just be far quicker than you would ever believe. And like, not only am I a case study of that, but like there's over 10 people in my community that are also an exact replica of what I've just said. This is like the most important thing, and I often teach this to, well, I teach this to all of my students, is that growth requires uncomfortability, and how you become uncomfortable is you look at things through different perspectives. And so you then have to be open and willing to look at things through a different perspective in order for you to push the needle forward and push yourself out of there. Because if your current perspective has got you to where you are today, that same current perspective is not going to be able to get you to the next position moving forward unless you change some parts. Maybe it doesn't need a complete change, but at least you need to change some parts of this. Because otherwise, if you don't, you remain in the same cycles. And so you consistently need to either refine or add on to the perspective that you have in order to get to the position that you want. Because if you don't do that, then you just remain circular in the same cycles, the same patterns, the same beliefs, the same actions, which leads to what? The same fucking result and the same life that ultimately no motherfucker is happy with. Because if you're not willing to become uncomfortable and look at things through a different perspective, your mind stays in the same place. And ultimately, all life is a sequence of sending messages, right? Messages to yourself and messages to others. And so you have to understand that if you stay in the same position and if you stay in the same place, then what type of message does that actually send to yourself? Like, what message are you sending to yourself by doing that? Is it a message of, fuck, I'm growing and I'm going to be successful? Or is it a message of, I don't believe that another perspective is going to help me have the success that I want? Is it a message saying that this perspective, I don't know, I'm just yapping, but like, what's going to be healthier for you if you want success in your life? To continue to look at it through a perspective that's not bringing you success, or to look at things differently? So if we go back to the thoughts, emotions, and actions, right? Like, your thoughts create your emotions, and your emotions then create your actions. If we look at that together, you can control your thoughts to some degree. You can, if you want to think about something, you can think about something. For example, if you think about going into war naked with a fucking sword in your hand, and you think of like chopping people's fucking like heads off and shit, like that gets your fucking heart pumping because you're ready for war. If you really think about that moment and you really visualize that and picture that enough, like that's going to get your blood pumping. You're going to think, fuck, why am I feeling like that, right? And so that will then create an emotion, which will then create an action. The idea of it is that if you start to think clearly enough and you start to really focus on the emotion that brings you, you're then going to take actions towards that. It's like, if you take actions of a successful person, you are going to be successful. You're not going to know what actions they are until you fucking take them, right? So ultimately, you can choose whether you live a different life. You can choose whether this life that you want to live is one. You can choose whether this life that you're living now is a life that you actually want to live in the long term, or you can choose to live a life that is one where you live up to your fucking capabilities, is one where you see yourself in this vision 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, and you're just like, damn, I actually did it. I remember I did this, I'm 24 now, and I did this when I was 21 or 22, and I wrote about how I'm earning $250,000 a month. Me and my mum and my family are on a private jet. Was it a private jet or first class? I can't remember which one it was, but I'm taking them all on a trip. And I just remember like those feelings and those emotions that I felt of like pride and joy. And I was actually like, I'm not really a man who shows much emotion typically, but like genuinely tears came to my fucking eyes. And like, I was like, yo, what the fuck? I hadn't cried in like 2 years. And then I wrote this down and everything just surfaced. And I was like, because when you really go for the deep fucking story, like it's so fucking like, that will be such a big moment of clarity for you, because you realize actually what it is that you want and why it is that you want that, why it is you want to be seen as that person. As you can see here, like I teach people this exact same thing. Siggy has done $40,000 this month already in his own business. Cody has been in sales for literally 6 weeks and already made his first 10K day. Nick, boom, he made $1,000 literally yesterday. Henry done $6,000 last month in his first month of high ticket sales. Jens went from literally earning nothing to printing his first $1,000 day. I've got 3 people in this community who went from earning nothing to $1,000 a day in literally 6 weeks or less. Henry done it in his first week. Cody done it in 6 weeks. Jens done it in 2 months. Like, these wins just go on for ages and ages. But do you know why this is important? It's not about looking at my fucking MacBook and the wins in the Discord, because yeah, that's sick. But it's about, what life do you want? Do you want to live a life of winning? Do you want to live a life being surrounded by winners? Or do you want to live a life surrounded by the people who don't empower you to move forward, who don't celebrate your wins with you, who don't help you through the losses? Because if you do, then sound, that choice is yours. But I hope you find the success that you're looking for regardless. Now, in the description, what I've done is I've posted a link to my Instagram, so you can go follow me. You can go watch all of the daily content that I post, so you can actually fucking understand exactly how you can get to the result that you want within your life. And I've also posted a Calendly link that you can either speak to me or one of the members of my team in the description, and you can book in a call with us and see exactly how you can do exactly the same as everybody else that I've just showed you.